Why are St. Louis Blues fans getting a little bit frustrated with Captain Brayden Schenn? I'm going to tell you why coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about the St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On today's episode of Locked On Blues, it is another live episode here on YouTube. I will be talking to you about the importance of the trade deadline. Will Brayden Schenn step up? And what if the Blues miss the playoffs yet again? A lot to talk about on today's episode, but I do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. So hello to everybody. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I have been dealing with a lot of back pain and a little bit under the weather, hence why I have my little back supporter behind me. So for those on YouTube that are asking what that is, it just helps prop my back up and make it hurt less. So anyways, let's talk about a couple things. I understand that there has been not a lot going on due to the fact that the Blues haven't had a game in quite a while. They play tomorrow. But right now, I am looking at the future of the Blues. I'm not looking where they're at this current moment because my focus, my priority is to see how this team grows. They have a lot of younger guys that will be coming very soon and playing wearing the blue note. But until then, will anything happen at the trade deadline? And this is something I know it's only January 3rd. I am talking about the trade deadline. But why is it so important for me to talk about the trade deadline now? Well, for multiple reasons. One, I love all of this, right? One of my favorite things is trade deadline talk, draft talk. I love it. And I have said this all along. It's Friday, March 8th. So there are definitely some players that you can kind of keep an eye on per se. But the problem with the Blues is that I don't know if see, this is where it's tricky. I don't know who can be moved because of, well, of the caps. Not the Capitals, like the cap space. And then there's the other factor for all the no trade clauses. So I don't know if that could even be possible. But I think for St. Louis, what they need to do is free up some of that cap space. If they know by March 8th, if they know, hey, this team is not going to go to the playoffs, then I say, I don't want to say like sink or swim, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's better to get a better draft pick. So I'm going to talk about some players that are actually kind of being talked about, and one of them has to do with one of our defensemen, Colton Parayko. So Parayko has had a lot of speculation swirling him, and obviously it goes with his approval, but he has a no trade clause and he has 6 more years left on his contract. And he's 30 years old now. I think right now the teams that are a little bit interested in him are definitely the Flames, the Bruins. So I could see that happening. But again, because he does have that no trade clause, it does have to be with Parayko's approval. But it could happen. So right now, I know this is like, I don't want to say it couldn't happen, but I like him a lot. And that is Anthony Duclair. Right now, he's on the San Jose Sharks. And I think that he is somebody else that I would love to have on the Blues. He was with the Panthers last season when they went to the Cup. So I think that would be a cool one. I feel like right now the San Jose Sharks are kind of like in one of those positions where they're not great, but they could have some guys that are going to help us. Another guy that might be a talk again, and I know he's going to be, obviously, is going to be Torrey Krug. Torrey Krug made a lot of speculation last summer, as I stated in my end of the 2023 video, but I could see them potentially moving Torrey to a team that he wants to play on. I believe it could be the Bruins, honestly. Why wouldn't you want to go to a contending team? And they can free up some of that space. But again, I don't know what's going to happen. So let's go talk about the trade deadline as a whole. I think that a lot of the guys that are being speculated happen to be a little bit older. I don't think that there's that many guys that are super young in talks right now, which to me is a little bit funny. I mean, usually that's how it goes, right? Like you have the guys that are a little bit older, and there is one guy though who, but I don't know if you would take that chance on him, and it is Philip Broberg. He is a left-handed defender, Edmonton Oilers. He's not getting a lot of playing time. My bad, but I don't know if the Blues want to take the chance and risk having a guy that maybe, just maybe, isn't ready yet. But it is a little bit of an interesting thing because usually from the trade deadline, you have two goals. If you're a contending team, get veteran players that can help you win and succeed. If you're a team that needs to rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it, then you want to get rid of that cap space so you can draft younger guys, you can sign younger guys. Because free agency, too, that's another thing that I love to talk about. It is really good this year, and I will do a whole episode dedicated to free agency. But the reason why I'm bringing this up right now at the trade deadline is basically how the Blues continue to play will impact, I think, what they try to do, especially what Doug Armstrong is going to do during the trade deadline. I think that March 8th, right now, to maybe you and I, it seems a little far away. I will be in Florida then, which is kind of funny. Gonna some hockey. But it is going to be interesting to see what goes down. I wouldn't be surprised if one of our guys it's traded. I wouldn't be. I think that if you're a guy like Colton Parayko, if you're a guy like Torrey Krug, go after the cup, right? We know, well, we don't know like 100%, but it's pretty obvious that the Blues are not going to win the Stanley Cup this year. I am so sorry to break the news to you. Again, anything can happen, but not everything can be like our Cinderella story in 2018, 2019. It's not likely. So I'm not being negative. I am being a realistic person right now. By the way, on YouTube, Rob says, let's go Blues. Let's go Blues, Rob. Anyways, getting back to that trade deadline, I would prefer to loosen up the cap a little bit, create some more space, because the thing is, the way that it works in hockey is younger is better. So you want to have that money so you can sign younger players that will be the future of the team. I would be very disappointed if the Blues sign somebody that's 30 years or older. And I'm not saying if you're 30-year-old, I'm saying in hockey, it's a little bit older, okay? I always have to say this. Actual age is very different than hockey age. Hockey age, you want to be younger. That's better. You're going to be faster, better mobility, a lot of things. If you're in your lower 30s, you're probably going to end up retiring soon. I'm not saying that you can't play the game. I'm just saying that right now, the way that I'm looking at St. Louis is I'm looking at long term, and I hope you understand that because I love this team. This is my team, and I want us to hoist the cup again. But I don't know if that's going to be possible if we don't get younger and better players. So get rid of some of those guys that have those no trade clauses because they're killing us. They're really killing us, especially last summer. Prime example. It was brutal, and I do not want to see that again during the trade clause. And Stella, my cat, who was with me, she's a big fan of Locked On Blues. What do you have to say, Stella? She says that she agrees they need to get rid of some of those no trade clauses. So it sucks because it's going to be players that we've grown to like, But at the end of the day, I'm looking at the longevity, not just this season. Something else that I'm also looking at is FanDuel. That is right. So the NFL season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's number one sportsbook. Right now, new customers get 150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's 150 bucks in bonus bets. Win or lose. The app is so easy to use and there's so many different ways to bet, like live same game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, and it's the best way to find popular parlays and so much more. So visit fanduel.com/locked on and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Love me some FanDuel. You know what else I kind of love? To see Brayden Schenn step up a little bit. I first off made an episode about this a little while ago. And here's the thing. And I will get to your comments on YouTube about everything. And I just want to talk about this Shen topic really fast, and then I'll get to all the comments. So if you have any more comments about the trade deadline, what you want this team to do, comment it, and I will get to it, I promise. Give me like 5 minutes. So I made an episode about this about a couple weeks ago, maybe, about Shen and my disappointment with how he's been playing. And I saw a lot of excuses. Oh, he needs time to adjust to being the captain. No, no, no. We need to stop with the excuses. When you get that C, it means that you are a leader on the team. It means that you have shown great leadership about abilities, and you've shown that you can execute on the ice. It should have nothing to do with how you're playing your game. It should make you play your game better. I don't know what there is to adjust to it. I mean, he was an assistant. He knows leadership. So why are we making excuses saying that he needs to adjust from having an A to a C? I truly don't understand it. If he didn't have any letters and he was just any other player on the ice, every single person, I know how this is, would say, oh, he's not playing that well. What's going on with him? I think that it's okay to articulate you're sometimes a little bit frustrated with a player. I think that Shen deserves captain, and I would not take it away from him. But I'm just saying, I think that I need to see some more out of him this season. I need him to step up. Power play, it's a little brutal. I'm not going to lie. Even his positioning on the ice sometimes is a little questionable. I think that sometimes he gets outskated and outplayed, and he is my favorite player besides Robert Thomas and Jake Neighbors. And I like him a lot, but I think that right now, the reason why Blues fans are so frustrated is because you're not seeing that much out of him. I mean, look what Robert Thomas has been doing this season. He's been putting up the most goals, the most points, and he's been killing it on the ice. I mean, when Robert Thomas hits the ice, you know you're going to get 105 million%. He plays hard. And I'm not saying that Shen doesn't. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that why are we seeing always Robert Thomas leading the way and not Shen? And I don't want this to get confused and taken the wrong way. I think sometimes that can happen, especially when somebody has an opinion and it kind of gets twisted and turned. I respect Brayden Schenn, one of my favorite players, as I said. I think that he is a great hockey player and he deserves to be where he's at. But at the same time, I can also say, hey, you know what? This season, with the numbers that he's putting up, I'm not that happy with it. And I'm sorry. I hate being, negative here because that's not who I am. And I think everybody that knows me from this podcast knows that. But I mean, he's had 16 points this season and he's had 8 goals, 8 assists. Meanwhile, I'm going to name you all the guys that are above Brayden Schenn in terms of oh wait. Where is it? I had a list and it went away. So the Blues don't actually have that many points, But above Schenn, you have Brayden Schenn, Justin Folk, Torrey Krug, Kevin Hayes, Jordan Kyrou, Pavel Buchnevich, and Robert Thomas. Yeah, not not that great. I mean, none of the guys are really putting up that many points. I mean, Robert Thomas has 39, which is ridiculous. Bush has 28, Kyrou has 26, and then Hazy has 19, Krug with 17, Folk with 17, Saad with 16, and Shenny with 16. Jake Neighbors has 14, but he has had 12 goals. And when compared to the goals from this season, where's my list? Robert Thomas has 15, Bush has 12, Neighbors has 12, Kyrou has 9, Hayes has 9, Saad has 9, and then Shenny has 8. So it's not the best, but the reason why I'm reading you the numbers and everything is just so you can get an understanding of, okay, this is not the Brayden Schenn that we're kind of used to seeing, right? It's not even about the points. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just overall, I think. And I think that's what's been the most like frustrating part about it is that overall, I feel like I'm not seeing what I want to be seeing from him. And it happens. It is okay. But at the same time, we look at points from his career. And right now, this season, he's at 16. Last year, he had 65. Season prior, 58. Season prior, 36. Then 58. Then 54. Then 70. So the first season, I talked about this before when he came to St. Louis in the 2017-2018 season, he did have 70 points. But even if you look at last season, right, and you compare the 65, which was the second highest amount of points that he's ever had in his career, to now at 16, I don't know if he will be able to maintain that. I mean, last year he had 21 goals and 44 assists. Right now he's 8-8. So I just wanted to put that out there that, hey, this is what's going on. This is why I think there's some frustration because he is not putting up what he did anywhere near where he was last year. But I guess we'll see. You know what I do like though? And that always puts up for me? That is Gametime. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seats, and most importantly, the best price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. They have last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, and so much more. And it's always so easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. So here's what I need you to do. You need to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKED ON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKED ON for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Let's talk about what if the Blues don't make the playoffs and also reading some of your YouTube comments. So Flint says this, Blues D would be absolutely gutted if 55 was traded. Krug wouldn't net a return. Saad and Buchnevich would be attractive to teams at the deadline. Interesting. I would hate if Bush went, to be honest. He's like the one player where I'm like, oh, I don't want him to go. Torrey Krug, I don't think he's going to move. I think he was very adamant about staying, but it will be a conversation that gets brought up because every single person in the NHL always says to me whenever I talk some hockey, they're like, oh, so what's going to happen with Torrey Krug? And I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't think he will. But here's the thing is, again, I'm not knowing what's going on, but it was very interesting what this person said about Colton Parayko. I don't want him to go, but there is talks about him speculating, and I hate it. I don't like it. I hope it doesn't happen. But obviously, as your host of Locked On Blues, it is my job to talk to you about what's going on. And I spend like about an hour a day researching everything, right? I spend an hour a day rewatching games, doing show prep, really just trying to find out all the information I can. Information that's a little bit hard to find, rumors. It's a lot of show prep that goes into this. And I've been seeing Colton's name. Russ, they do play the Flyers, the Blues and Flyers. They play, I believe it is January 15th at St. Louis and March 4th here in Philadelphia. So when the Blues come here, obviously I'm going to go to the locker room finally and get some Blues audio, some content. Super excited. I actually might head up to New Jersey too when the Blues play the Devils to do the same thing, depending on how much it costs me. But I will be at the trade deadline to get all of your Blues audio, interviews, all that. And I will be having on different Blues guests this year. So I'm excited that they're coming to the East Coast a little bit because I love, and this is the thing. When you have your team that obviously is not in your city, you want to see them as much as possible. And I was like, okay, I can fly out to Enterprise this year, or I could go to the trade deadline because then that's more days of being involved. You get what I'm saying? But whenever they come to the East, I'm like, my team is here. I'm like, let's go Blues. And I just am so obnoxious about it. So I am so excited for that. Of course, I had that on my calendar. Um, yeah, Stella is right next to me. I'm telling you, whenever I do my podcast, she just loves it so much um, because she just knows how happy this team makes me. But let's talk about business. And the business is it's tomorrow night. First off, I am so mad at the NHL for always awful scheduling. But the Canucks and Blues play each other at 8 p.m. at home at Enterprise. So a little bit of a later puck drop. Tomorrow, 32 players' names get announced that will be in the All-Star game. Can I tell you a secret? Can we tell secrets? I think it's going to be Robert Thomas. I really do. If Robert Thomas doesn't get selected, I will personally write in Kevin Weeks, Chris Johnston, Gretzky, Biz. I will personally write all of them letters saying, what is going on? This is rigged. RT season. Do better. Love, Haley. JK. Hate from Haley. Locked on Blues. So I really am excited about the names being released. I think it's going to be my boy, Robert Thomas. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it was Pavel Buchnevich, but I think Robert Thomas has a better chance. I mean, 39 points already is incredible. He's been stellar every single game, and I really think that he would thrive playing in the All-Star game. So where is the All-Star game this year? I always forget because I know last year it was in Florida. Let's go see. This is the power of internet. So it's February 3rd, which I knew. Where is it gonna be? Wait, why can't I find it? Am I like location? Wait, is there not like it's in Toronto. Yeah, I'm definitely not going. That's way too expensive. The people in Toronto, oh, nice people down in the north. I've been there because of the Hockey Hall of Fame multiple times. Way too expensive. Therefore, I will not be going and it will be kind of cold. So I hope Robert Thomas has fun. But I will not be there in attendance. All right, today's episode was a fun episode per usual. By the way, make sure to leave some positive reviews. I know sometimes reviews can be a little bit negative on Apple Podcasts and all that because people suck. But make sure to give some positive reviews. That always helps me out quite a bit. And like always, how I end every single episode, let's go Blues.